My name is Jack Seidler, and you are watching that Hella Dank podcast. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. I hope you enjoy.
Okay, how good is it?
Sounds good. You sound amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Does it sound amazing though?
cheers. So, thank you again, and it's
Thank you.
very much appreciated for you making it out here. I know it's a fucking trek, and I was telling Shelby, I was like, oh, I kind of feel bad because I did that first podcast. I kind of just announced you're gonna be on the show without talking to you about it first.
Oh, that's okay. I'm used to that. It's kind of the nature of the friendship.
I'm just like, oh, I kind of just dropped this, and now I'm committed to this next episode. And now, like, I mean, I could have done it without I could have figured out someone else, but I was like, I gotta have Kelly on as the first one,
Everybody's got to have goals. I appreciate that.
No,
it means a lot. It means a lot. Thank you so much.
No, dude, of course, yeah, and
I'm excited to be here too. Just so you know, you could tell I had butterflies earlier. That was funny.
Yeah, dude, you got the glasses, you look good, man, and
It was bright in here.
yeah,
Get used to the environment.
Yeah, the presence is enlightening, whatever you call it. But so like the deer, we were talking about hunting earlier.
Are we talking about whitetail? We were talking about what whitetail versus blacktail.
Yeah, so when I first moved out here, I was used to whitetail deer hunting, at least from how I was taught in New York, was, you got to scent away the fuck out of yourself. You got to set up your tree stand. You got to prep your area and really, like, be diligent because they're, like, super skittish. They get freaked out by anything. And I come out here and I meet how you guys hunt. And they're like, oh, mule deer, they don't give a shit. You walk out there, you can smell like tobacco, weed. They don't care. Like, they're just dumb. And then here...
Sagebrush.
Yeah, and you're talking about this, being used to diesels but not gas vehicles, which is kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah, animals are smart, What are they used to? Who are they used to, and what's driving up and down the road? It's a diesel truck.
Yeah, I mean, definitely makes sense for it around here. It's everywhere. It's all over the place. Every acre of this place has almost been logged, There's some presence of it somewhere.
Correct. Just all you have to do is copy that Peterbilt, log truck.
Peterbilt sound, yeah, Caleb Barnes.
Get his close, allegedly. Just kind of you fit into like what the norm is kind of interesting. You never know. You just might find wildlife where people are.
Have you I remember a couple years ago when you first got your bow and you were starting to go out. You're like. I mean, I don't know if you went hunting before that, but it seemed like to me you were like learning the ropes and stuff, and you got, you shot your bow once, and you swear that it went through something, but whatever it was, like a grouse, was it? It was back in the days of the lab.
Oh yeah,
you were like there was flesh.
Bird hunting season, and sometimes,
Sometimes
arrows just fly through things.
It's just weird, like how if it did go through some, it was just gone, like. Just where did it go?
Where did it go?
Down in the bushes. That's the big question, right?
Yeah. The brush. Everybody knows the jungle of Oregon.
Yeah, man, no doubt. Yeah, it's crazy. Like I hear like Jake, Jake. He talks about that he'll go and just get dropped off somewhere in the mountains, and he'll have like his side piece, his rifle, or whatever he's hunting with, and he just goes with the clothes on his back. He's like, "All right, boys. Come pick me up in a day," and he just goes walking just miles, and he may or may not get some, but I'm like, that would scare me. Like I'm not. That takes some nerves of steel, like to go by yourself like that at least, and Jake, Jake,
Oh yes.
Yeah,
I've met this man.
Yeah, you've met this man, and he's fearless. That guy, I couldn't do that, and like to see at least you go pretty damn prepared, with your bugle and you got the works. So this guy's going out there just on a limb.
On the limb. Well, sometimes you only have to go on a limb. Depends on who you are, where you're at, and what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. Like, do you use like OnX or some sort of GPS?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I don't, I'm not supporting or selling or a salesman for any reason, but do I use a map system? Yes, 100%. You got to go out there. You have to have that technology. That way you can figure out not only where yourself is, but where your game or prey or
whose
destination is, or
yeah,
how to get out of the hellhole you're in.
yeah, definitely seeing if you're on, making sure you're on state land or something,
Yeah, be wary where you're at.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. But so off of that, we're gonna switch gears a little bit here. So
We're gonna switch gears, like third gear.
like we'll go like
Is it a 5-speed?
4.20 gear.
What size transmission is this thing in?
We'll talk about what is it? 4L60. We'll get all neutrals on this one. But one big reason I just wanted to, we'll ponder this a little bit, and we'll talk about some other stuff. But one of the big reasons I wanted you as like a first guest on this show is I already kind of foresee for the next little few episodes of this is going to consist of people that either have been or been part of like the cannabis hemp industry.
Allegedly.
And but when I first moved out here, I met you like a week after I came here, and at that time, I was curious about it. I wanted to get in part, of what was going on. I all I ever saw in New York was just like these like cheesy TV shows or these articles like Weed Wars. I don't know if you ever saw that.
What is Weed Wars?
I think I missed out on that. It was some dumb weed TV show. It was like
HBO.
It was on, I think, History. It was some drama like
History.
These dispensers, or maybe it was like. It doesn't matter, but it was about like.
This is where we need the due diligence person to pop on. So I can be like, yo, look up Weed Wars. Throw it on screen number 3.
Yeah, once I get the camera switcher, I'm gonna have Maddie running the boards, and she's gonna be that person. She has background with this stuff. She's really good at it. Anyway, Weed Wars aside, it was you really became my friend, and I learned a lot from you.
What year was that?
That was 10 years ago this December. I met you like...
Wow, you remember that?
Oh, yeah, dude. It was like December 23rd, 2014, or December 24th. It was like Christmas Eve is when I officially came out here. And it might have actually been after New Year's. Like the week or so after New Year's is when my mom took me to the grow shop for the first time because I was interested in hydro. I really wanted to get immersed into that.
Now, we say hydro, is that lingo for hydroponics?
Hydroponics. You were the manager of a hydroponics store here in the central Willamette Valley. You remember.
What kind of shoes were you wearing?
My moon boots.
Were they
my big ass boots?
What do they call those? The main specials?
Oh my god.
The snow boots, dude, unlaced.
The snowboard boots. Those things
were they even snowboard boots? I thought that was just like a boot.
It was just a boot. It was Under Armour boots, actually. Those really big.
Those lasted forever.
They're huge.
Do you still have those?
I kept onto them until we moved here, and I kept moving around, and they were just getting dirty. I was like, you know what? It's time to say goodbye to these. I threw them away.
Now, when you say moved here, you mean this house?
This house, rather.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'll copy that. That's cool. Those boots, dude. That was your style for
that
so
was
long.
My style. When I first got to school here, like, whenever it was, so many people
got the Jordans.
Yeah,
moved up to the Jordans on the quick.
Oh yeah, I got those Jordans from your homie there.
From Josh.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I forgot about those.
Yeah, the big shout out to Josh and B. Always, you gotta know.
Yeah, Josh
the Jordan
and B.
hookup, dude. That was something else.
That
was special.
So cool, dude. I forgot.
All the friendships begin. See.
Yeah, exactly. And so that was like one thing. You taught me so much about growing. You helped me out a ton. You gave me some literature, gave me some advice, but also just the people that came in and out of there. Like you were, you and also Gavin, in the early days of the shop were, that was the epicenter of the local Central Willamette Valley grow people. It was...
That was 2014?
2014 was... And that was before rec.
I go back and look at my tax statements. I'm really give a timeline on my work history here.
Yeah.
10 years.
It was before recreational was legal. It was only the medical days, which were... I wanted to ask you about that. Like, medical was a totally different kind of cannabis culture entirely until rec hit. Everyone was more... closer, everyone helped each other out versus like rec. It became like this, at least to my eyes, it seemed like it was immediate like money grab competition. Everyone was stomping on each other. I don't know if you ever like saw that or heard about that.
That's the big name of corporation, right? Isn't that? I mean, can I say that allegedly? You know, the name of the game is the big money grab, right? So
that
it's like
is what it became.
Kind of goes from the mom and the pop to the I got to pay my taxes, and the big boys run around, play big boy games.
Yeah, that's a very good way to put it.
Stab everybody in the back and stomp, and
yeah,
slander, and I mean, you know, move forward on trust fund money.
Yeah, like it was bound to. It was bound to happen either way.
Oh, 100%.
It just really kind of sucked, like being really like a fan, or not like a fan. I don't know if that's the right word, but just being really deep into the culture and how cool it was, and how tight knit the groups were, and how everyone was so helpful to each other. It just all that went away almost overnight when recreational cannabis passed here in Oregon, which I think that was 2016 when that happened.
I don't know. Yeah.
I think it was, and then
pull up on screen 3.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is when we need Maddie right now.
Quite.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to do all that. I think it was 2016, but then it turned into something else to where that was when you and Gavin started the. Worthy Hands trimming, and got into that, and that's when he slowly started drifting out of that into your own thing, and you guys kind of shifted with that in your own special way that no one else really did. Like I kind of like to describe what you guys did as like the gold miners, or the guys making the shovels providing the gold miners with the shovels, if that's the right analogy. You know what I mean? Like with the trimming business.
Yeah, you're not buying the gold and go, or you're not.
You're not
edit allegedly. God damn it, fuck.
No, we'll cut that out, whatever. But
no, it's you sell the shovel to the gold miner, because every other crazy person is out there on the trend run Bitcoin, and allegedly, and you make the money as the guy that sells the retail product.
Yeah, and you guys were really good at that back in the early days, and then of course. COVID took its toll on a lot of people, if you want to put it that way. It's was just a lot happened so fast with like pre-legalization, post-legalization, and then, COVID and really fucked a lot of shit up for people.
Hell yeah, what happened there?
Well,
that was a wave of something interesting, wasn't it?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I mean, I'm not the youngest guy in the world, but that was new and interesting.
Dude, you remember we were sitting at the lab, like, when it was running, we were all sitting there, like, we're going to build a commune if shit goes down. We're going to go out to the mountains and, like, build an area, allegedly. And,
I wouldn't go to the mountains. I would go to the desert. You ever should go there.
That's a good point. Yeah. But it's, I don't want to ponder on it too much, but you were, basically my whole point is that you were my introduction to it, and I think even though our situation was pretty localized, it still speaks volumes to how it could be a similar, maybe not because of COVID messing things up, but because of like market saturation and corporate greed and money-hungry people diving their hands in, that is just going to ruin it for the small mom-and-pop shop. And it's really... What are you doing?
Oh, I'm preparing my my speech.
Oh, you're preparing...
You think we're going to be here for 2 hours? And
no.
Pull up some shenanigans, dude? Yeah. Like, come on. I was just doing some research.
Yeah, no.
I don't have my own personal... Hey, look at 2014.
Gotcha.
I'll bring my own next time. You wanted to come.
Yeah. Well, it's... Yeah, we don't need to get... The details on that don't really matter. What matters is what happened then and where it is now. And I think a lot of people can learn from how... If the whole country does do this rescheduling of cannabis and the whole country gets somehow their hands onto this business, that it could backfire in a certain way. Like... what's happened with like corporate farms, it knocked out all the small mom and pop farms, and now all you see is these 20,000 head of cattle operations going to where the average person can't have the American dream anymore. If that makes sense.
Of course, it makes sense.
Like,
everybody wants to turn everything into a big giant corporation.
Exactly, and I feel like what happened, with Worthy Hands trimming, and also like the hydroponic shop. I mean, they got shut down because of Amazon and delivery, you even saw that coming early before all that happened. You're like, oh, this shop, like, I give it like 6 years and it's going to be gone. And a lot of shops did go under because
Yeah,
of that.
100%. You read the tides. When you work in certain industries, no matter what the industry is, if you're in the know, have a little perception,
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
kind of see what is happening. Ride the waves.
Yeah.
You've seen how many waves I've ridden so far. Look at the waves I ride now.
Yeah.
I'm like a surfer. I don't even like the water.
You are a damn surfer.
It's
You're a pretty
weird.
good one, too. Like,
I'm just trying to navigate.
yeah.
Navigating.
Yeah, I guess just in my eyes, when I was younger, I didn't know anything then, because I was just getting exposed to it. When you first said that, like, oh, this isn't going to be the same in the next, 4-6 years or whatever, and I was like, no, like, I thought this industry was going to be all, like, fireworks, everyone's going to love each other, it's going to be this beautiful thing, and it totally did not. Like, it kind of did, like, if you had millions of dollars and you were going to HempCon or HempFest or what, you're one of those big companies. And
Then maybe.
And then people like you, or, like, even when I came out here, my dream was I wanted to start, like, a small hydroponics, like, on the side anyway, a little hydroponics grow operation and present everyone, like, okay, you're doing soil, you're doing cocoa, but I want to do deep water culture and show you what I can do with this. And that's, like, I got really deep into that, and then rec hit, and there was just no chance of that ever happening. I don't know if you remember, I had, like, an Instagram page for my grow and all this cheesy stuff, and the market just overnight got completely wow.
What are we doing this day?
Dude, that's a while ago.
We'll talk about that here in a while as I surf around.
What
Who wants to know? Look, I just randomly always want to talk about Jack because I have the best pictures of Jack on my phone.
Oh, you should send me that picture and I'll edit it in this video.
There we go.
Yeah, just send me
That's how we
whatever,
do that?
like, cool pictures. Yeah, I'll edit it in. And but yeah, that had to have been somewhat recent because that bandana I got from where I work now.
Yes, very smart. Now you want that in an iPhone text message, Jack?
Whichever works for you. iPhone, it doesn't matter.
That's
AirDrop.
what I'm talking about, dude.
Yeah,
AirDrop.
whichever works.
Here you go, young man. Let's see if you can figure out. Oh, does it come up when I send it to you, the date?
Oh, let's see.
Because I always want to play the game with you, I think. Every time you bring up me on this show, I'm going to pull up 2 or 3 pictures, and we're going to play Can the host guess what day this is?
Let's see. I'm wearing Mocha's hoodie. My beard is super long. Wearing my Star of David and the bandana. There's no date on this.
Nice. That's
Let's
key.
see. Is this the day I got really hammered at your house?
That's every picture. What are you talking
No,
about?
it was like that day I was drinking stout, like, at your place, and I don't know. Like, I'm assuming it was some funny day. I have no idea what day that's from.
This was, so we were to go back in time, because you always like 2016 earlier. I told you I need my glasses, by the way. What are we doing this day? It looks like it snowed that day.
Oh.
Did it really? We must have been. Okay. Let's go back in time. It appears if there's Coors Lights and some snow.
Coors Lights and some snow.
Here I am. Selfie land. Looks like I have a filter.
And don't worry, everyone. I'll edit this in so you can see what we're talking about.
That's some funny stuff right there. Is he even around? Oh. Am I calling him to come work on a greenhouse?
Oh, that might have been what it was. We were tearing down Gavin's place.
I think that might be greenhouse day. The weather was terrible looking at that time frame, but
Oh, that's your house.
that is my house. But the official date is January 17th, 2023.
What the hell? What are we doing?
Yeah, there you go.
I have no clue, dude. I don't remember nothing. Maybe I'll scroll through my phone and see if I got any pictures.
The date is January 17th, 2023.
Everyone's going to be like, what the hell are these guys talking about? But listen, if
this becomes a thing,
this is
going
to be the thing.
We'll figure it out.
And just for the record, Kelly has hired and fired me, I think, at least 2 times over. And
yeah, officially, actually.
Officially.
Tax-wise.
Tax-wise, he has. Oh, that's June.
Allegedly drinking water out of a glass bottle right now. Because I'm 12.
See. Then to the 21st. So whatever we were doing, I didn't take no pictures.
I'm pretty sure that was Greenhouse Day.
Maybe.
17th.
But what about it, though? What did we do?
That was in the morning. Remember I called you? I'm like, come over, bring coffee or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Were you just... Yep. I'm pretty sure that's what we were doing that day. What else were we doing? We don't just get together at 12 o'clock in the middle of the day while I'm wearing a vest, it looks like.
Yeah.
This is totally greenhouse day. Look at my pic the day before. Check it out. See that? What is that?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's totally the greenhouse. And I don't know. What am I talking about? Oh, we got to edit that in. No way.
Yeah.
Who am I talking to now?
Probably me, man.
I believe that.
That is hilarious.
I'm so dumb.
Oh my god, that's great.
Okay, well.
No.
Cheers. Well, so that was legalization time, yes, and worthy hands trimming became a thing, and that is when we started going out and doing the meeting our customers out on site. That was some good times too.
Yes.
We got some real work done that year.
Yeah, when you guys were going out with the trailer and going to rec sites.
And that was just when
bad luck. After you cheers, you gotta...
I heard a ting.
No, you gotta drink it after you cheers.
I had to go around. Okay, bossy.
Excuses.
One. He had one.
So, let's elaborate on Worthy Hands a little bit. So obviously the hydro shop, it's pretty obvious. You're selling fertilizer, soil. Yeah, you get the picture.
That's retail.
We had a lot of fun there though.
That was a 10 years part of my life. It was fabulous.
So okay, yeah, maybe we'll take another step back here. What made you want to do that? Like, when did you decide? Like, was that just a job that was open? You just took it, or did you have like, I want to get into this, and this is my way in kind of ordeal? Or
no, let's go back to I follow the trends. Remember?
Okay.
I'm the guy that was just because when it comes to work, I just kind of do what I want, I guess.
Well, I've seen that. Yeah.
And sometimes it's it can be for a short amount of time. Usually 2 to 3 years, though. Like if I take a job, I try and be reliable for somebody.
Yeah.
But anyways, so when I did the retail job, before that, I had taken a warehouse job as a forklift driver and stocked a aquarium shop.
Oh, really?
And hydroponic shop.
Okay.
And I was a warehouse worker, and it was just one of those. I found it on.
Just getting some paper.
This is way before Indeed.
Yeah.
I don't remember why I took the job.
When people used to just walk into a place and hand an application in.
I've been smoking weed for so long. It's just like this job come up, and it was like, yo, bros, you want to work at this, bro?
Yeah.
Shops, warehouse that also does fish and saltwater fish and aquariums, and I was just like, I'm qualified. So I'm qualified for everything. Just ask me.
For hire.
So I went. Yeah, exactly. For hire. So I went down there and I took that job and I accelerate and learn really quick, obviously. And so I worked there for a while and then I stopped working in the warehouse. I actually worked retail sales there for a while. Yeah. Kind of learned the ropes on that a little bit. So then I got to talk to people a lot about fish tanks and hydroponics and learn all about what I knew. That was my stepping stone. Literally, that was my stepping stone.
That's a good stepping stone.
And that's pre med because that's when that's during med. That was medical times because that was about 2004, I do believe.
Oh, keep talking. Sorry, I'm just
maybe 7. I don't know. But anyways, so that's when I started dabbling and growing myself, because you're selling the stuff, and you're now you're a retail guy, you talk about stuff guy, you're stock the stuff guy, you know what everything goes. You've learned the ropes on that. Now you dabble in, hydroponics and indoor gardening.
Yeah.
And fish tanks, which I skipped the fish tanks pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like plants.
Yeah.
Fish tanks.
That's pretty. How old were you when you started making that transition?
Oh, that was at approximately 2006.
Oh man, that was. Was that 18 years ago?
No, that can't be right. 2010-ish.
Wow, so you were there for a minute, even. Well, I guess I got there 4 years after the fact. So, but still, that's a lot happened in that 4 years. And what this was saying, medical marijuana became legal in Oregon in November of '98. Wow, that's even earlier than I thought. But that's just medical.
Yeah, that was like right after I graduated. So that was my whole deal. It was like graduated 1996, high school.
This initiative modified state law to allow the use, possession, and cultivation of marijuana by prescription for patients with certain medical conditions. Wow, I thought it was like 2010 or something, 12 when it got passed. But damn, shout out to Oregon for getting ahead of the game. Wow. I think actually, now that I remember reading that, I think someone told me, it might have, I don't think it was you actually, that someone said that they got ahead of the game before California even.
I do believe that's actually correct.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, the whole weed cannabis thing in Oregon has kind of been like the forefront, obviously. Pacific Northwest forefront.
Oh no, right here, California was 96. The Compassionate Use Act passed with 56% voter.
I knew I needed compassion when I got out of high school.
Medicinal. Yeah, but I think what it was California had harsher rules or something. I think Oregon was much more lax. I mean, I'm not going to do all that right now, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, let's skip that.
Yeah, we'll cut that out.
Somebody else can read that on the
Someone
side.
else can, you guys can figure that out. So, and then it was.
So then I transitioned over to the grow shop. So I had. I stopped working there, and I think I did some construction fill-in work there for a little while. And then I had heard of a job that was actually farther up I-5 in some cities I don't spend time in, never really been in, and it's kind of ironic. Looking for somebody to work in a hydroponics shop, and it was from a friend of mine that was working there part-time and going to Oregon State University because he's a beaver, and he'd recommended that I go in there and just kind of apply for a job. Well, I went in there. I'd had about enough background working at the other job that the manager owner, shout out to my homie.
Does his name start with an R?
It does, man. That guy.
That guy's pretty cool.
Gotta love that man.
Yeah.
He looked at me like I was crazy because I knew everything about water in his little shop. And he's like, yo, you probably you come back, you work here. And I was like, sweet. Well, I worked with that gentleman for like 10 years. And it was
Hey, move that mic just like a little bit away from your face. Just
away.
Just like right there. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's that sound?
That's good. That's perfect.
Oh, it sounds kind of loud in my headset.
Okay, yeah.
And
So if you want, you
so
can
then,
turn
yeah,
your shit down right there if you need.
We worked there. We being me, myself, and I. For a good 10 years. A lot of stuff happened during my life, during that 10 years.
You worked there by yourself?
I worked there. No, not by myself.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Us. We.
Yeah, well, so was Gavin there when you got hired on?
No. Absolutely not. I hired Gavin years later.
Yeah.
Years and years later. That had to been like 2 or 3 years after I'd worked there.
So before then, it was just you and this R guy.
Yeah, it was it was the owner, dude. And then, it branched off. Well, the owner ended up moving, because he went to move to a bigger location. And so I stayed. And then hired and fired and saw a few different people up at that place.
Yeah, and then the only reason why I'm going to say Gavin's name, I won't say his whole name, obviously, but he's... One of these days, I think would be great to go back to this, to have both you on the show. And obviously, we'll keep it tame, but... There's
you need to do an episode with just him, so then I can go back because I want to give that guy so much credit because it's fun, hanging out with Mr. Stink Eye, dude.
Oh yeah,
like, it'll be a rap battle. I'll make sure to get my photo folder ready for that meeting and ask him questions like I do you, like what happened this date? What day is this?
Yeah,
and then that way I can always razz him and then call him out on his bullshit on the air. And that would be funny. Bring the fisticuffs. I mean the air muffs. I mean the what's that? The rock'em sock'em gloves.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And I actually did intend to do that. I wanted to bring you on and then have him on at some point separate. What is this thing you're playing with?
I don't know. It's trash. This
trash.
is your area, dude.
Right there.
I come up in here.
I got fidget spinners if you need them over there.
I don't know. Maybe I am that guy.
But I did plan on doing 2 separate episodes, talking to Gavin, and then at some point down the road having the both of yous on, and I think that would be great. I think there'd be a lot to learn there, and also it'd be pretty entertaining because you guys are entertaining people. pretty funny.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of stuff. Just the grow shop stories alone is great. But we won't ponder on the grow shop too much. So we'll talk about
We moved into Worthy Hands
Yeah,
trimming.
the
We talked about
development.
that a little bit.
Yeah, so where did that idea, like, just as rec, because I know that was passed when rec got legalized. You guys developed this idea, like,
What do you
almost
mean,
over.
brain? You listen to Brainchild Gavin's 400 million ideas and just extract one or two good ones and tell
I
them.
gotta hand it to him. He can crank him out. Yeah, sometimes he says stuff that's a little like, that may or may not work, but yeah, that one in particular.
That's why you love the guy. He's an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so that was originally his little spark
Oh, I'm
he
sure
had.
it was.
Yeah.
I'm never take credit for
But you
any of my business ideas ever, because what's it worth when you know Gavin?
Yeah, you also, it's funny, like, you guys, just coming from the outside, it's like Gavin was this, you guys were like the yin and yang to each other's friendship. You kept him in line and kept him straight and focused, where he's just like, "Bah," like all over the place and trying to do everything immediately.
We're all different people, you know. It's
Yeah.
like you get a couple really like-minded people together that are motivated and willing to put up with each other and actually, really drive for something that you guys that are passionate about. That's when everybody else gets their own personal Gavin.
And that's what really inspired me about being friends with you guys, is seeing that drive, and like, especially in this industry, excuse me, really, like, not that it sold me on the industry, but I'm like, okay, like, that motivated me to really get into, getting close with you guys. I'm like, okay, these guys, I didn't want to, like,
I did my 20 push-ups today, by the way.
I did not. I
Or
lacked.
yesterday.
I lacked on that one.
Day before.
I did it before. I did it yesterday, and I did it all this week. But today I failed at that one, just because I had to run all over the place for work today. I had to go to the bank and take care of stuff for my new job now.
Take a shower this morning?
I take a shower after I get off work, because I take a shower.
Do you warm up the shower?
Yeah, before I jump in.
Drop down.
Right now?
No, when you take your shower, you turn on if you pre-warm your shower, like you just said you did, right?
Oh, okay.
Is your bathroom not big enough to do a push-up?
I mean, I'd rather just do a push-up in my living room. You see my bathroom; it's tiny as hell, and I don't.
Just clean your toilet.
My toilet is clean, dog. Come on.
I didn't say it was dirty. Why are you so offended?
Because
I haven't been there today.
Yeah, well, go check it out. That fucker's spotless.
I'm wondering about that. Ka-ching. This guy goes, my bathroom.
But yeah, I forgot where I was going with that. It really motivated me into, like, after I was friends with you guys, basically doing hydroponics work. And essentially, I completed, allegedly, my senior project, and it wasn't like cannabis related. It was learning about hydroponics and stuff, but it was in a cannabis crowd where I learned all this stuff. But it's still, remember when you showed up for my presentation, talking about different little grow lights and stuff?
Yes.
That was good stuff. But that right there was presenting how much I had learned that short span of time. Like, yeah, the weed stuff was there, but I really was absorbing everything I picked up there. It was that fascinating to me. But we'll not trail off down that story too much. We'll go back to where Worthy Hands started. So legalization happens. You guys got Worthy Hands going. What, I guess we could explain to people about it wasn't just trimming, like, with hand scissor trimmers. I talked about it in my first episode with these Twister T4 machines. You guys got some of those, and you could take it from there.
Damn, I take a good selfie. Yes, we use mechanical trimmers. We did a lot of different stuff. We used hand trimming.
Yeah.
Very little. We called it the quality control, but we did a lot of machine trimming for manufacturing purposes. And you have to meet a price point, so you can't labor-wise hire a bunch of people at the wage of Oregon. Obviously, that's where I live.
Yeah.
And get any production done. And we're talking about production now. Well, unfortunately, things do get to a production rate, and if you're a farmer, you sometimes have to buy a tractor, so it becomes automated to some level, not necessarily too much, depending on production rates, but then have some hand scissor work at the end to, meet requirements.
Yeah.
And some seasons were also bucking machines, cutting down branches, harvesting plants from the field and the ground, running large crews.
When the hemp game started taking over in 2018, I think it was like 2018, 2019 was the two biggest years, at least I observed from your guys' company, was everything shifted gears massively from a couple recreational jobs here, and then the best point for what your guys' company became was helping these commercial hemp farms. And these hemp farms weren't industrial hemp, just for people that don't know. These are just female plants. They don't grow seed. They're just a female plant that rather than producing THC, they produce CBD. A lot of people get that confused. They think that the male hemp plants are where they get CBD. It's not. I mean, you can get a little bit, but those are just for like fiber and seed and crap like that. And there was massive fields out here, like huge fields. I remember
there were massive fields out here. It's insane.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, 2018, I swear, like where most of these hazelnut tree farms are now were all hemp fields. And that was like the cop-out for a lot of these farmers, at least how I understood it, was the hemp game fell off after COVID, and they all gave up their hemp stuff and went straight to hazelnut.
This looks pretty hempy. Check this out. October 8th. 2020. Here you go, doggy.
Yep.
There it is.
That's it right there. Look at that. Yeah, send that one to me too. I mean, I have some pictures of hemp fields too that I'll post up. But
our customers and clients and their followers, who actually, they're gonna want to know what I'm looking at and you're looking at right now, right?
Yeah.
So let's give them what they want.
Yeah.
I love them. Why am I not trying to send it to you all of a sudden? I don't even know how to use my phone. See how nervous I am, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's amazing seeing how hemp just overnight, all of a sudden everyone's growing hemp. Just everyone jumped on board. There was big money in hemp, and then that's another kind of, not micro. I don't know what word it is, but it was one of those things where just like when the recreational cannabis market passed, the market got flooded almost overnight. And then the hemp game got hot. Oh, those were some big ones. Those are huge. Wow.
Oh, boy.
But then everyone jumped onto the hemp game, and they've destroyed that market overnight because everyone was doing it and just drove the price into the ground.
Well, it's the money train. It's like most of this ride the train money, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I'm seeing a trend here.
Yeah. Or you say, yeah, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, there's people who want to give you money for, I don't know, certain things.
And there's not much
you
you can
do that, so you take the money.
Yeah. And there's not much to do about it. It's like we could sit here and talk about it, and I think it's just maybe one of those things you can bring awareness to where it's like if we do go nationally legal or whatever may happen, if your state is going to legalize.
It's only going to nationally legal because certain pharmaceutical companies are pushing for the whole, like...
That's what I'm scared of.
The THC press tab from your local pharmacist, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's where it's probably going to go. And then also, at some point, like, obviously, I'm actually kind of surprised. 2024, the big ag hasn't, like, forced it to where you could only buy, like, certain seeds. Like, with tobacco, can't you only grow certain tobacco plants?
Well, like corn's a big one. Corn, you have to have patented seeds, and if you're like, you've heard the classic story of a farmer growing, this was wheat rather, but he was growing his own strain of wheat, and then an industrial farm started next door, and it cross-pollinated, and they sued the small farmer because they were claiming he was stealing their genetics. It's kind of like that thing that shows that you need to have patented seed. And so, yeah, I'm surprised that hasn't happened in the because it's state regulated, but that will most likely happen. And they're deciding that in November, if they reschedule cannabis to a Schedule 3 drug rather than Schedule 1, it's how I read it and how I understood it is that if that happens, the pharmaceutical companies can get their hands on it a bit more. Because Schedule 3 kind of puts it in the same category. And, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure...
This is not necessarily my forte by any means. I'll grow some cannabis, but I mean, I don't know about Schedule 1 and 3 and all the...
But Schedule 1 is like... Yeah, it's like meth, crack, heroin. And Schedule 3, I think, is stuff like aspirin, maybe some over the counter drugs, like lighter stuff. That's
well, that's almost like that's like the CBD at the end shelf of Bimarts here. Like, if you're in some state that's not Oregon and
Schedule 3
CBD is on the market, it's like on the shelf everywhere. It's ridiculous. The THC stuff though.
Drugs in this category may cause physical dependence, but more commonly lead to psychological dependence. Examples are benzamphetamine, ketamine. Okay, that is not aspirin. Phendimetrazine and anabolic steroids.
Okay, well, steroids we know.
But the article I was reading was comparing
the benzamphetamines and the ketamines we both know are interesting. But I thought there was also studies on ketamine right now. It's being like
there's ketamine therapy.
Ketamine therapy. Like everybody's gotten shrooms that's a little lingo. The mushrooms, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like legal in the state.
Did you hear about that mushroom shop in Portland that got busted? Some guy, because Oregon's passing mushrooms to some degree, but they got ahead of the game, opened a storefront selling mushrooms. And then the cops came in and busted it. Did you hear about that?
No, I haven't heard about that. But I mean, I'm not shocked by any means. You're not supposed to have massive amounts of mushrooms lying around.
People are just trying. That's another thing, people trying to jump ahead of the game. And
I also hear in Oregon you're not supposed to eat mushrooms and fly airplanes. Wasn't there a pilot that ate mushrooms or something?
There was an Alaskan Airlines pilot. He ate mushrooms 2 days before his flight. I actually have done research on this because I'm an aviation geek, but he took mushrooms 2 days before the flight, and he wasn't flying the plane. He was in the...
He's nav man.
He was in the cockpit, but on a jump... It was like a passenger seat in the cockpit, I think. And he started freaking out. And he said he thought he was locked in some tube, and he didn't know what was real. And so he reached up to pull the fuel levers to cut fuel to the engines while it was in flight with 84 people on board.
So it's just going to be a glider.
And so that is true, but he explained that he was having this psychotic episode and that in his mind that he thought that if he could pull these levers it would snap him out of it. But obviously,
this guy don't eat enough hallucinogens. Obviously, get hold of yourself there.
He was talking about
2
how
days later too. He ate him, and 48 hours later, he was in.
Hours.
It was in.
That's why I wonder.
I'm gonna eat some mushrooms. Go fly.
I want to know how much he took because he was talking about how he had depression, and this is a true thing that this is actually a real.
Was he eating them every day?
I don't know. They didn't go.
He probably eat them every day, dude. He probably microdosing, and then you talk to some of these people with microdose. I hate to be that guy, but they think that eating a cap is a microdose. Guess what? Don't do that. You'll go insane.
No, that's
newsflash, everybody in the world. If this goes real in the world, don't do a caps and giant mushroom, dude. I've seen a lot of people do it. It's terrifying. Yeah, just don't do it.
Yeah, no, me too. But I don't know. This guy talked about how he suffered from depression, and amongst commercial airline pilots, it's. As of right now, the FAA basically, if you have any sign of mental illness or anything, they could revoke your license.
100%.
And so he didn't want to go to the hospital to get tested or get drugs or anything because they didn't want it on his record because he could lose his pilot's license. And so he learned that some people you can... And I'm not saying do this. This is
is this bad advice?
This is not advice. This is just what this guy said, but I'm not saying do this.
Yeah, this is repeating what the gentleman said.
So he heard that that if you take psilocybin mushrooms, that it could help ease some people's depression.
Okay, well, that's common. I've had this conversation with a lot of people in my life.
I've heard it. I don't know if it's true. I haven't tried it. I have no idea.
There's studies on this.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, so he self-medicated with who knows how many. That's why I want to know. If he was feeling the effects 2 days later.
That's a lot.
Either this dude is just not the brain type to handle that, or
he ate mushrooms when flying.
He ate an ounce or something, or he ate it
He's full of shit.
Yeah,
he ate some mushrooms fucking earlier that day when flying.
Lying. They should do a stool sample on him or something.
I don't know. Can you test that? I don't know if there's any testing for that.
I don't know actually.
I doubt that. You have to take his word.
Yeah, but anyway. I don't know.
It's not on the 5-panel. We all know that.
Yeah.
And if you don't know that, mushrooms are not on the 5-panel.
Yeah, but that's a real problem. I'm not a pilot. I wish I was. One day, maybe I will be. You know, just a personal, like, I might, you know, own a Cessna or something would be pretty cool, but the FAA guidelines are pretty strict.
Yeah, they are.
There is a real problem with mental health in pilots that there's like, I don't know if you ever heard, we're kind of going off track here, but it was like the King of the Skies is what they call this guy, hijacked a plane out of Washington. It was a Q800 plane. He hijacked it with no one on board. He read a book how to fly this plane, and he got it in the air, was flying it around, and then got a hold of air traffic control, and they're like, "So you
just called him in."
Yeah,
hey,
and he's
guys.
like, "Hey, do you think this plane can do a barrel roll?" Like, was just told, like he was he was going to commit suicide. Like, he did not intend on landing, and he crashed it. You know, long story short, he crashed into Mount Rainier, but that was, I mean, I guess he wasn't a technical pilot, but it's just maybe he would have been or something. Who knows? But yeah. Men's mental health awareness.
You know, yeah, men's mental health awareness, 100%.
Yeah, for real.
It's going around. A lot of people are sad right now.
That is one thing, like, you know, talking to you sometimes is you're pretty, you know, open to the conversation about how important that is for some people. And I've seen it a lot. You know, I've dealt with my own bouts of stuff. I'm sure you have. And it's...
Oh, hard times come upon a lot of us.
Oh, my gosh, man. Yeah.
It happens. You know, and nobody wants to see anybody else being in a hard time. I have a story for today. I teared up today because a lady who obviously was not under the influence of drugs or alcohol, older than I am. I won't say her age, but yeah, she was an elderly lady.
Yeah.
Had a sign, and she wasn't exactly where the homeless people stand in a parking lot, and crying, and I could see it even with my bad eyesight from a distance. And I observed this as I was leaving the store, and I actually pulled up over there in my car. You know what I mean? Like boom, boom, boy, and I pulled up on this lady. You know, I interact with the public, and I asked this lady specifically, "Why are you standing outside by your car when it is this hot outside? Because it's in the 90s here today."
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm concerned for one, like her health. You know, somebody of her age, you know, probably shouldn't be standing outside and beating sun. You know.
Yeah.
And she proceeded to tell me that she needed to collect money for her co-payment for her next medical visit because she was having a lung autopsy. Not autopsy. That's something like she'd die or something. But it sounded pretty serious. But she needed to kind of know if she's having like lung issues or whatever. And she also hadn't been to the doctor not long ago, apparently, because she had her bandage still on her chest. I thought it was a little weird, but you know. Yeah. But she was teared up a lot, dude. And I actually had to ask the lady, you know, I don't have a lot of money. I'm not the richest man in the world, but I gave her, you know, some dollars and asked her if I could hug the lady. Got out, pretty much cried. She cried, and had my daughter with me while I was in the car, and went back and pretty much wanted to cry in the car again, and really considered like offering this lady, like, you need a ride to like the hospital, like, because I'm just that guy. Like, I just have these thoughts, and
you
I
have
had a lot like, oh yeah, dude, like, do I is my next job, you know, on the kindness of my heart going to be drive the elderly to the hospital or to their appointments? Because I think about that type of stuff, you know. I'm that guy. Yeah. And so it just teared me up, bro. It tears me up now. It teared me up then, you know, just to see this person that really didn't look like she needed a lot of help, as though there's a lot of other people around not asking this poor lady like why she's standing where she is. Yeah, it was terrible.
No, it's a brutal life, man. It's I think about that all the time. I sometimes see, like, when I'm leaving Winco here in town, I kind of saw a similar situation where it was a lady sitting in a wheelchair right at the pole out there, and it was like her sign was saying something about need help with like co-pays. It was kind of like that same thing.
Yeah, medical industry.
And, you know, the light was green, so I didn't stop. But I did read it, and I did think about it for a minute. And just like, man, like...
And then you kept driving like everybody else.
I kept driving like everyone else.
It's a great... There you go, dude. Yeah. Sometimes you got to be the guy that doesn't drive. You know, it's crazy. It's how do you read the situation?
Yeah, I did think about it, you know, like, could I have done something? Sure. But I was just, you know, going with my day. I saw it, and it was... It stuck with me for a few minutes, thought about it, and of course it just passed through. But it's just, that's out there every day.
It's all over the place, apparently.
It's at a certain point, it's like, what can you do? It's like, yeah, I can give you like a 20 or a 10, And what the problem is like, I'm not trying to go super deep here. We go from talking about mushroom sales to deep issues with the medical industry here in the
it gets
country.
real around here. You know
Yeah.
that. You invited me on here for a real reason.
Yeah, for sure. It's it's hard. It's hard seeing that, man. Especially here in Corvallis, there was a lot of like you get the occasional schizophrenic. I don't want to like be rude or anything, but you see the occasional like schizophrenic guy. Then you just see some real unfortunate people down on their luck, and I always enjoy like talking to people from all walks of life.
No, you never know who you'll run into,
and you never know who you run into.
You learn a lot from a
and
person.
It's just like these people have stories, and it's really unfortunate that they've been betrayed in some way or another. If you also need to take a pee break or anything, we can pause the episode really quick and we can come back, just so you know.
Oh, that's great news.
Yeah, we don't.
I have to pee.
Do you have to pee?
No, not really, but we should pause and break, because I'm going to go pee.
Okay, we can break.
And
we're back. Okay,
so how do I look?
You look fresh as hell, my guy. You always look fresh as hell.
I just farted.
Alrighty. Yeah, I did it. It's the unsponsored beer farts. We'll say that.
Yeah, it's the road sodas.
The road sodas.
Road sodas. So when I walk home.
So I think we were talking about homeless mental health is what I wrote. So we'll conclude on that and just say
mental health is a crazy thing. You don't even have to be homeless though. Like, here's my deal: is like there's just such a unawareness, it seems like, about just people in your own circle that a lot of times are falling on hard times. It just seems to be that we're dealing with that. I don't know, unawareness of like how your neighbor is doing, or your friend.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes people are just not aware of that, and I think people just need to be, especially aware of people that you care about.
Yeah. No, 100%. And you and I have talked about this. I've talked to a couple of my other friends about it, and it's definitely. And I don't want to make this, gender specific or whatever, but it's especially like
right out of the gate you do.
But I mean, I am, so I'm sorry, but it's one thing like everyone's mental health should be accounted for, but it's especially like I was talking to Shelby earlier about you, and I was like, oh, like I was telling her how you were like kind of anxious about doing this, and she's like, Kelly, anxious, like. That doesn't make sense. He doesn't seem like that. And I was like, listen. I was like, I didn't say this to her, but it's in my head. I'm just like, that's like kind of, when you come across as like a bulletproof dude, if that, like saying like you seem like a guy that wouldn't have an issue like that. And there's a lot of, that's the case for a lot of like hard looking guys, where the notion is that we don't, not that we don't have mental health issues, but it's just not as common. But it's a lot more common than you think. And I think I'm sure this has been repeated many times before, but I'll repeat it again because like I've dealt with my bouts, you've dealt with yours, and we've already been over this, but it's just it needs to be heard that it really matters to talk to.
Well, it matters to somebody.
It matters to someone,
especially
if it's someone you don't think like has that issue, and you're like, oh, they couldn't deal with that, like they couldn't have that issue, but then something could happen or they could say something and you're like, wow, I never would have put that piece together. And I think that really, if someone could take something from this podcast and really think about someone else's that they're thinking about, a family member, a friend, like, just send a text, like what I do with you, like during the week. It may not be every day, but
corny text message to check in. This is the best thing ever.
Like, Happy Tuesday. Here's a Migos song or something cheesy.
You gotta check in. It's important.
Yeah, it really is. Even if it's just saying like, "How are you doing?" or something. It's a big deal. But we'll conclude on the mental health thing because we strayed way off of the.
Are we going to? And am I going to let it die, or should we bring up why we get together as frisbee golfers on Wednesdays? Though, like, how did that originate? It was realistically the fact of getting us as some men together that were close to get together to talk about our issues while enjoying an ice cold beer and getting our health in by walking around in the wilderness and being able to have that openness to talk about what is happening in our lives. That was a big issue. I think that should be part of this conversation. Realistically, I mean, that is something that we're doing, and we need to share that. I think with people.
Yeah,
it's important to set those dates or those events and and be open and invite new people. Sometimes it's okay because you never know who you'll reach out will be able to help.
Yeah, and we've expanded from that where it's, I gotta hand it to Parker. I'm very glad he got me into it. He's very good, but it went from just me playing with him, and then reaching out to you, and then you explained it to me in that way. Where I'm like, that's a good point. That you're being active, which helps you feel better, and you're with your friends, hanging out, and then Maddie plays with us sometimes.
We take everybody.
Now at this point, it's good for everyone that's part of it. It's like it's not just like a men's thing. Like yeah, it started with us, but like at least in our own group, and so it really made me realize like wow, I feel better about doing this. Like this really. I played a game with Shelby's dad and his friend, and we had fun and whatnot. But it's like doing that like made me feel good, and I could tell like Shelby's dad had a great time, and his friend had a tremendous time. He even texted me the next day like, "Dude, thank you so much for taking me out."
Who are these clowns? I mean, I know the one guy.
Gary,
I party homeboy Gary.
yeah,
but who's the new guy? And I'm already excited. Like to.
His name's Tom, and he's a cool dude. Like
let's play with these guys.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
I can't wait. I like big crowds. I'm not afraid.
He could smoke a mean brisket. This guy. He could smoke like I gotta tell you what.
To say right now. Just the way you say that is so terribly open.
Okay, well, he's a very nice dude, and he's a family friend of like Shelby's family, and he's my friend, and he's, I'm not gonna give the full name drop, because I don't know if he wants us to, but we'll say his name is Tom, and he's a very nice guy. He likes to. I didn't know it, but we were talking about frisbee golf one day. We were at at Shelby's parents' house the other day, having dinner, and I was like, yeah, I've been going out playing with you and these other guys, and he's like, bro, like. I've been playing for a long time, like, let's go. And I was like, let's go tomorrow. We scheduled a date. We hit up Willamette Park, shot some baskets, and everyone had a good time. He even hit up one of his friends out of Eugene. He was this guy, I think his name was Nate or something. He also had a great time, and I added him on Facebook, and we talked about reggae music and, connected, and we were just a complete stranger. That made me feel good. It was a good experience. And so basically the bottom line is finding something to do with like your fellow person, your friend, and like instead of just going and drinking or going out and partying, if you go out and do something like active like frisbee golf or even playing a game of chess or something to stray your mind away from those issues you may or may not have is, it's a good healthy thing. And I think it's more important than I ever gave it credit for before. If you would have told me 6-7 years ago, like, oh, go do that, and 6-7 years ago, I didn't even really know what mental health problems was, because I never really dealt with it like that until I got older and started really putting pieces together.
Yeah, you start studying.
You start figuring out, like, oh, like that kind of makes sense. Like, this is why I feel this way. And so, yeah, I think that's very important.
It's all about that tribe.
It's all about the tribe. Amen to the tribe.
Well, so what else is good? So we're coming into the fall season around this area. Any major events or fun things happening coming up for us? You?
Well, definitely going to be putting some work in on this podcast. I'm going to be focused on this, which is another thing that we can do. But I think maybe as long as the weather permits, I'm still down to play some frisbee golf and maybe we'll have to alter our schedule since the days are getting shorter. But,
that's okay. We used to usually play on Sunday mornings. It used to be a better thing. You get to these shorter days. Obviously, it's harder to get together. It's 6:30 at night.
Yeah. So,
so
beyond that, I haven't thought about too much. Just this.
Fishing season's upon us.
Fishing season is upon us.
Oregon fishing is supposed to be really good right now.
And one thing I do, with that being said, with this show is I want to get my hands on a handy cam or something, and maybe we could go like do fishing stuff. I want to start recording like anything cool that we do. If it's the winter time, if we like go maybe to the snow, like 4-wheeling, or if I go skiing or something, I'll probably go skiing when the winter permits. Really anything's on the table, whatever is offered. Of course the holidays are fun.
Oh, it's fun.
I like decorating the house. You know, call me cheesy or whatever, but I go
love
all
that.
out on the holidays. So
I have a
there's that.
feeling, actually, you know what, Jack? I was that's one of the pictures I was gonna pull up. I should have went right to it. I'll bring it up now. I'm pretty sure I'll be throwing the same New Year's Eve party
Alrighty.
once again. So unless
Yeah.
you guys are going to Vegas,
No, I'm
ovulating, or
no.
you have any major plans around your household, I think the save your money.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna do, and I think I'm gonna have you help me actually do maybe the food this year.
Okay.
You're such a G when it comes to making some homemade danky dank, dude. So
Yeah, I'll bring up to Shelby. I'm sure she won't contest to it. So yeah, I'd love to do that. That'd be a great time.
it's more noticed than like this week's events.
That being said, we are gonna plan to do like a Halloween kind of potluck. Maybe not potluck, but like a little party, like something of that sort, like party or something.
You gonna throw a Halloween party? Dress up?
Yes, yeah. We try to do dress up.
Is it theme raffle? Or are you guys doing like a best winner costume wins a small prize? Or
You know, we haven't gotten that far, but maybe we could. Maybe
you
we
can always
could.
make it corny, dude. You can always do like we could talk about it, but do small little
Yeah.
trinkety stuff. Do
Yeah.
something for the kids, So
Yeah, I'm down with that.
I love that. I love that holiday. One of my favorites.
Yeah, Halloween's a great time. Halloween's awesome. But yeah, that's like I said, I haven't really thought ahead too much about other things. I'm not
Okay.
there yet, but anything's on the table at this point. And
Cool.
I feel like maybe like doing this show and having people like you on and other people will maybe inspire some other ideas to do some fun stuff. Keep myself busy and also keep myself looking forward to something. Like the next episode.
Well, it'll give us our viewers some content, hopefully, to
Yeah,
with
and then-
shenanigans. Because
yeah.
you just never know. Sometimes what'll happen around here.
No, you never know. And I'm excited, like, hopefully more people, like, who want to be on become more involved with it. And if we get, the cameras dialed in and a couple more things dialed in, we can have people sitting just hanging out as long as they're quiet and they don't interrupt the show.
The groupies already?
Yeah.
You're already talking about
we're
the
talking about the
groupies?
groupies. No.
Oh, man.
No, like, if there's, some stragglers, but...
Stragglers. That's what we call them. Okay, well, I know some people who sit on that couch, and they're hilariously awesome, so.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we're going to go back and talk about Worthy Hands, but I think this might be a good ending point.
I think we're about there.
I think we're about there.
Might be a little short, but, I'm not the one looking at the clock.
Yeah, we crushed an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is a good start. Well, thank you, and I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you, as usual. Your hospitality is fabulous. I'm actually now looking forward to doing this for the fourth time.
Yes, and I would love to have you on as many times as I could. But yeah, again, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm sure people will love this, and you're a great character, and I feel like your voice deserves to be heard because you're a great guy.
Well, you're a great voice yourself and a great face. Way to go. Cheers.
Cheers, brother. Thank you guys for tuning into the show. I'm so happy Kelly could have gone on to episode 2 of that Hella Dank podcast. I want to say thank you, Kelly, for doing it. It means a lot to me that you can make it. I want to say thank you to his family for allowing him to be on the platform. I also want to credit some thanks to my wife. She really helped push this and usher this forward and motivated me to get this show finally on the road. And with Kelly on, I think it was a really great start to what this show is going to portray to an extent. I also want to give a thanks to her family for being so cool and so nice and also helping to support the show. I want to give a thanks to my family as being open as they are to helping me out and to any way that they can, and to all my friends that has shown support on social media and just in person. I want to say a very special thanks to all of you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.